Ladies and gentlemen, the more I hear persons like Peter Bunting talk, he has proven to me that he's an intellectual idiot. Sorry if I may sound offensive to some persons. But ladies and gentlemen, he is complaining about the way the government is fighting crime, which is producing results by reducing the crime from a high, ladies and gentlemen, from a high of over 1,000, sometimes 1,400 persons being unalived each year. And it goes all the way down to around 800 persons now, ladies and gentlemen, that have been unalived. And the crime rate keeps going down and down because the gangs are being targeted, their leaders are being taken out, and so the government is taking back the country from the criminal elements that were nurtured by the People's National Party over the years. They call it garrison politics. Now, a lot of persons may not like me because I hear a lot of persons calling my phone saying all sorts of things. But ladies and gentlemen, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I'm not going to be afraid to talk because what I am saying is a God's given truth. And I am not going to hush it because I'm afraid that somebody may take me out. Let me tell you something. Nobody can touch me without God's permission. I said nobody can touch me unless God allow them to touch me. So I'm going to tell you the things. Mr. Bunting says that the government is taking a more warrior approach towards crime. That's not the way to fight crime. Ladies and gentlemen, how else should crime be fought? The crime that is being committed in the society is an atrocity. So the state now have to wage war against criminal elements so as to get them to think twice before unaliving anybody. So it's a fight that the government is in against crime. So how else should a person approach a war other than through a warrior mentality? They are saying that the government should use more gentler approach to address the crime problem. Ladies and gentlemen, for many years, the People's National Party have been using that approach. And have it worked? The extortionists are still there targeting people at the bus park, using the guise of being a loader man. Anytime you see them coming on the bus, like they're loader men or whatever, they're extortionists. They just use the guise as a loader man, then they find a little corner, and then they collect extortion. So ladies and gentlemen, a lot of these so-called loader men are gangsters, wrongsters. Ladies and gentlemen, and yeah, I know many of them are going to talk off their mouth, but I don't care. Because let me tell you something, as a pastor, I cannot see wrongs happening around me and don't talk about it. That was the reason why they didn't like Jesus, because Jesus exposed the evildoers. So I'm here to expose the evildoers this morning. So ladies and gentlemen, when the PNP have been using a nurtured approach towards criminal, like a mother, or like you're giving them, you're turning a blind eye to them, as the criminal elements would say, they get more blight from the PNP than the JLP. That is the reason why there are so many activists out there encouraging people to come and vote for the People's National Party, because according to them, the People's National Party give more blight than the Jamaica Labour Party. In other words, they allow the criminal elements to get away more than the Jamaica Labour Party, because the Jamaica Labour Party go after the criminals, but the People's National Party just give them a slap on the wrist and say don't do it again. But the Jamaica Labour Party sent a message to them by saying, listen me, if you do the crime, you will do the time. Either you will meet your maker or you will go and spend time in prison. Now, when the Jamaica Labour Party use this approach, then a man is going to be afraid to pick up his weapon of mass destruction. Because why? He know that if he is caught, or if he commits a crime, he's going to be hunted. And when he's caught, he's going to either meet his maker or he's going to face the courts. So, ladies and gentlemen, I rather this approach towards crime than the People's National Party's approach, because they are the ones that have allowed the gangs to be birthed. They allow the gangs to come on the scenes, and they allow decent community to become garrisons, because they are not doing their work. They are not doing what they are supposed to be doing. Instead, they are turning a blind eye at crime. And then at the same time, they are saying we need a divine intervention. Of course, we all need a divine intervention. But the Jamaica Labour Party sought the divine intervention, and God intervened by giving them capable people that will put in that will do what they need to do to bring down the crime, to reduce the crime. And as a result of that, ladies and gentlemen, the crime being reduced, investors are now attracted to communities that they wouldn't dare to go. Once upon a time, certain communities you would never see business places investing in those communities. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing is that business places are being built up in those communities, and not one extortionist can go there and demand any payments for work that they didn't do. I see the Prime Minister building up another wharf up there in Caymanas Park, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm telling you, Mr. Holness make it clear that not one extortionist is going to come there and get $1 unless they are persons who are on their payroll. If they're not on their payroll, they cannot go there and demand any payment. So no extortionist can come there and extort anything. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. Or rather, this government, this Angelo-led government that is making Jamaica safer, that makes Jamaica look good internationally, because what the People's National Party were doing, they were making Jamaica look bad internationally. One of the time people were afraid to travel to Jamaica because travel advisory have been issued internationally that people are to be careful when coming to Jamaica, because, ladies and gentlemen, they get the idea that as they come off the plane, persons might start shooting at them. And that wasn't the case, because that was the impression that the People's National Party give to the media. When those negative news go out there, it gives Jamaica a negative look. Now, when the news keep going out there that crime is being reduced by as much as 40%, and it keep going down, then, ladies and gentlemen, when this hit the international scale, persons are going to want to come to Jamaica, because they know that when they come to Jamaica, they can walk freely on the streets without being robbed. They can walk freely on the streets, ladies and gentlemen, without having the fear of being kidnapped or being unalived. So, ladies and gentlemen, my advice to you is that this September 3, send a strong message to the People's National Party that we are not going to go back to the days when criminals hold communities at ransom. Because Peter Bunting, let me tell you something, Peter Bunting, he is a seatless MP seeking power. The people rejected him because he only seeks things that serves his own interest. If it is not benefiting him, he is not going to be a part of it. The people of his constituency were poorly represented, and that is the reason why they rejected him and put in somebody there who is doing the work. Now he is running again in a different constituency, and then coming in the public talking garbage, ladies and gentlemen. And what's heart-rending is that the PNP supporters are The PNP supporters are gravitating towards what he is saying because the majority of them are not people, ladies and gentlemen, that is thinking rationally. They are talking to the little corner man, expecting rational thinking from